and I could hear a car coming, I could hear a truck. It was a truck, it was loud. And I seen the truck coming, and I'm like, get off the road. I just remember screaming for him to get off the road, and it just hit him. No, please, please, just...
433, County, we got 2 subjects down. We need multiple ambulances, one in the ditch, one in the main road. We need multiple deputies as well.
On January 11th, 2014, Georgia Kobenace's life changed forever. According to witnesses, Rick Kobenace, concerned over Ben Juarez's ability to drive, took his car keys. An altercation ensued that spilled into the traffic lanes of County Highway E in rural Polk County. At that very moment, a truck approached from the north.
I just remember seeing Rick on the ground. And Patrick, he told me he was gone.
I got a phone call from my sister. She had said that Benjamin had gotten hit by a truck.
Richard Kobenace Jr. was 41. Benjamin Robert Juarez was 27. Evidence left at the scene and witness statements indicate that after striking the pair, the truck stopped. The driver and front passenger approached before abruptly running back to their vehicle and fleeing to the south. Now, 6 years later, the Kobenace and Juarez families, law enforcement, and the Round Lake community find themselves trying to pick up the pieces, haunted by 2 spine-tingling questions. Who were the subjects in the truck, and why did they leave?
I did scour the scene, and we were able to locate several pieces of the vehicle, from the exterior of the vehicle. Turned out some of the pieces came from the headlight assembly, several pieces came from the grille.
Called to the accident that night, asked to reconstruct the tragedy, was Polk County Captain Dale Hall. It's a scene he'll never forget.
It was obvious that the truck had struck the individuals on the front to front right of the vehicle. We later learned that the vehicle parts came from a Ford. The truck did drive down the road, pulled over. We observed a set of tracks coming out from the driver's side of the vehicle, and it appears that they were walking towards the 2 victims. At some point, the male turns to his left, goes into the ditch a short bit, and then he is running back to the truck.
Also working that evening was current Polk County Sheriff Brent Walk, who was a patrol sergeant at the time. A veteran with over 20 years in law enforcement, the incident is something that haunts him to this day. St. Croix Tribal Police Chief Frank Taylor was also on scene that night, and he can say the same thing. He sees the aftermath on a daily basis within his community. To both, the fact that the case remains unsolved is incomprehensible. How can those involved stay silent? How have the answers eluded them for so long?
6 years removed from the actual date of this occurrence, but to the family members, it happened yesterday. It happened yesterday. They want closure. They want answers.
You know, when I drive around, I think about that call quite often. You know, there's things that trigger that memory. Snowy roads trigger that memory. When we have other crashes, I think about that. You know, it's an unusual case.
So much heartache. For both Georgia Kobenace and Shirley Juarez, their hearts are heavy, but they admit closure is possible if only. If only they knew who was responsible. If only they knew why they left. Without knowing, they fear they will never truly be free.
The circumstances, it's not their fault. I don't know why things happen the way they happen, you know. But I would hope that at some point I could learn to forgive them if the shoe were on the other foot. Would they want me to stop?
I think about him all the time. What he would be doing now, that I miss him a lot. He was my my baby.
The gravity of the situation is not lost on those still investigating the incident now more than a half of a decade later. When the accident first happened, law enforcement identified all of the Ford F-150 and 250 trucks in the surrounding area, approximately 1,700. To date, more than 100 leads have been investigated, and still the identities of the driver and passenger remain a mystery. With each day, the trail gets colder, but with that said, those who know the case best realize they are just one tip away from breaking things wide open.
We're not going to give up just because it's been 6 years. We are still going to go out and do what we need to do to bring resolution to this case and to the families.
I never thought that 6 years later we still would be searching for these answers. I believe whoever went through that area had no way to avoid this crash. But what's troubling is they didn't stop, they didn't render aid, they continued on, leaving us with all these family members who want closure. It's hard to say goodbye to your loved ones when you don't have all those answers.
Rick Kobanez was so many things. A father, a grandfather, a respected member of the community who loved every second he lived. His bride of nearly 20 years still hears his laughter in the sound of the wind, his strength in the feel of a feather. Ben Juarez was known for his work ethic and smile, his ability to fix things, and the kindness he showed everyone. After raising him his entire life, his memory lives on inside of his grandmother, Shirley Juarez. Both Shirley and Georgia know that they and their community have suffered enough. They need peace, and it's time. In that, the truth may also set the driver and passenger inside of that truck that night free as well. It's never too late for everyone to move forward together.
I still have hope. I just wish the driver would come forward. Maybe his life would change too. It's hard to forgive when you can't find somebody who you can't find out who to forgive.
It hurts me a lot that they can just be out walking around or working or having fun. And my grandson is dead. I'm not angry anymore, but I was at first. You know, I can't stay angry forever, but it does hurt a lot.